would really like to get your viewpoint on how these shifts are the shifts that are happening in the marketplace that you spoke about, how these shifts are really going to impact fundraising strategies coming into 2030. And I feel silly almost saying the year 2030, but the reality is it's only 6 years away. So if we're not thinking 6 years ahead right now, we're going to be in trouble by the time we get there.
So I think that the one term that Professor Mauro Gullian kept using in the book is lateral thinking. So as we're preparing for the next 5 years, 5.5 years, I mean, it'll be 2025. I can't believe it, Carrie, in just 4 months, 4.5 months. But I think in preparing for that, we need to look at not only the shift in demographics, but how are we going to use technology, and more importantly, how is technology being used by the donor, by the gray market? How will we communicate with them? Will it be the same? So how will technology advance our nonprofit? How can we use that? I would get into it. If you don't have the money for it, just research it and start figuring out and start tracking all these trends. There's going to be economic trends. There's going to be social trends. We're already seeing social trends change. Politically, you see it in the United States, but you see it worldwide. In democracies and governments shifting and policies shifting. So I would keep track of all these things and have a holistic view of trends rather than I have to jump on technology. I have to get the latest in technology, the latest CRM, the latest whatever the thing is. I have to be on the latest social media. You know, think through what you need. And I think, Carrie, you mentioned a really good point. What do you need for your mission, for your impact, for who you're going after? Because there's going to be a certain segment of the gray market that's going to love you. They're going to love you. That's the viable market for you, those who love you. How are you going to keep cultivating them as these trends start changing as we move towards 2030? So I would have a lateral mindset, not just a single focus.
I love that. I know personally and professionally, I can get sidetracked with the next shiny object. And so what I hear you saying is really stay focused and evaluate what has worked. If it hasn't worked, doesn't mean that you throw that away necessarily.
Yes,
it just
exactly.
means how do we revisit it? How do we look into it further and look to see what technology is out there to help maybe reignite that, if you will?
You know, that's exactly right, Carrie. And if you look at some of the nonprofits I've talked to, if you go back 10 years ago, 95% of their communication was direct mail, right? Mm-hmm. Well, today it's 50%. Mm-hmm. So there's other communication going on through email, through social media, through other ways of communicating and reaching donors. So you can shift, you can say, okay, I'm not going to abandon direct mail. Just like we have clients right now that won't abandon TV, and they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. You should keep TV, but how do you add the other platforms, the emerging technologies to what you're already doing that's going to reach that market that loves you? Mm-hmm. I think that's important.